Once upon a time, in a tight-knit fishing community in Jamaica, lived a middle-aged fisherman named Bert. His life had taken a sorrowful turn when he lost his wife and son in a tragic motor vehicle accident 30 years ago. Devastated by this loss, Bert sought solace in alcohol, slowly earning a reputation as the mad drunkard of the community. Each day seemed like a battle against his own memories, the weight of grief pressing heavily on his shoulders. The rhythmic sound of the waves crashing against the shore only served as a reminder of the tranquility that had long left his life. Bert's fishing trips, once a source of joy and bonding with his family, now became solitary journeys where he found fleeting moments of solace, intertwined with the pull of the bottle. The villagers, once sympathetic, began to label him as the town's lost soul, unable to break free from the chains of his past. They could not comprehend the depth of Bert's pain, how the accident had torn his world apart and left him adrift in a sea of sorrow. Their judgment only deepened his isolation, pushing him further into the arms of alcohol for comfort. On somber nights, after drowning his sorrows in alcohol, Bert would find himself at the gravesite of his beloved wife and son. He wept until the sun painted the morning sky with hues of orange, his tears a poignant tribute to the memories he held dear. On a few occasions, he was discovered sleeping there by members of his community, inviting even more ridicule for being deemed a madman for seeking solace at the gravesite. Bert's once thriving fishing business that had made him wealthy in the past had crumbled. He would work tirelessly at sea, weathering the waves and battling the elements, only to bring his catch and give most of it away. He would leave just a little for sale, aiming to make a modest profit for himself. Bert was trapped in a relentless cycle of grief and addiction, an intricate web that seemed impossible to untangle. The loss of his wife and son had left a void so deep that no amount of alcohol could fill it. The bottle became his unreliable companion, offering fleeting moments of numbness, yet never truly releasing him from the clutches of his sorrow. Days blended into nights as he tried to navigate this seemingly endless maze. The once vibrant fisherman had become a mere shadow of his former self. As the years went by, Bert withdrew further from society, finding solace at the bottom of a bottle. He carried the heavy burden of his past, unable to move beyond the tragedy that had shattered his life. Communication became a distant memory for him, leaving him with a world of silence and emptiness. The local kids would mock and throw stones at him while he slept outside, except for one kind-hearted young boy named Colin. Colin, the son of a widowed mother and Bert's immediate neighbor, possessed a remarkable ability to look beyond Bert's exterior demeanor and extend genuine compassion. In a neighborhood where others often judged Bert by his troubled facade, Colin chose understanding and empathy. Their interactions were notable, for Bert maintained a silent presence, never engaging in verbal exchanges with Colin. Despite this, Colin made it a routine to visit Bert, offering assistance with household tasks and gladly accepting the gift of fresh fish that Bert shared from his fishing expeditions. Their bond transcended words, communicating through gestures and unspoken understanding, illuminating the beauty of true friendship. Colin's compassionate nature expanded to shielding Bert from the relentless taunts of the neighborhood kids and making sure he safely returned home after his nights at the bar. Even though Colin's mother expressed concern about her son spending time with the community's troubled soul, Colin's heart remained steadfast in its kindness and empathy. Despite the reservations, he continued to demonstrate care and support for Bert, unwavering in his commitment to show compassion and understanding to someone in need. As years slipped by, Colin blossomed into a strikingly handsome and gifted young man, landing a role as a receptionist at a nearby hotel. However, fate had a different plan, and one crucial night, Bert briefly emerged from his usual alcoholic fog. During this brief moment of clarity, he overheard a chilling conspiracy unfolding among a group of men. In hushed tones, they discussed a malevolent scheme to cause harm and rob an unsuspecting individual, with a certain Patrick revealed as the sinister mastermind behind it all. Startled by what he had heard, Bert decided to remain sober the following night, hoping to gather more information to protect Colin and his mother. The next evening, he pretended to be drunk at his usual spot, eavesdropping on the criminals' plans. Discovering their nefarious intentions, he grasped the horrifying truth. They were planning to break into Colin's home, putting both Colin and his mother in grave danger. Filled with desperation to warn them, Bert hurried to Colin's residence, urgently trying to persuade Colin's mother of the looming peril. Regrettably, she brushed off Bert's warning, branding him as the community's habitual drunkard and disregarding his earnest attempts to convey the impending threat. Thankfully, Bert intercepted Colin on his way home from work. Bert shared the dire truth with him. Together, they quickly alerted the police and formulated a plan to apprehend the criminals. When the night veiled the community in darkness, concealing the sinister intentions of the criminals, they set their nefarious plan into motion. Armed with ill intent, they approached Colin's house, driven by greed and malice. Just as they were about to carry out their malevolent scheme, the flashing lights of a police car pierced the darkness, heralding their downfall. The timely arrival of law enforcement thwarted the criminals' plot, leaving them with no room for escape. The once confident expressions on their faces now contorted into ones of panic and despair as they were apprehended, justice finally catching up to them. Patrick, a friend of Colin who works at the same place, is the mastermind behind the plot against Colin. He harbored a grudge against Colin for the promotion at work, convinced that he deserved the job more because of his longer tenure at the hotel. Consumed by this bitterness, Patrick hatched a wicked plan to not only to rob Colin of his hard-earned paycheck but also to eliminate him from the equation entirely, driven by his insidious desire to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. Colin was dumbfounded at this revelation, that his own friend would go to this extent. Colin's mother gasped and thanked Bert for his kind action towards her family. Thankful for Bert's bravery in risking his own life for her and her son. Bert, in turn, was elated to have assisted his friend Colin, who had consistently shown him kindness and care throughout the years. Word spread through the community about Bert's bravery. From that day on, Bert earned the respect of his community. None of the neighborhood kids mocked him anymore. Instead, they often sat around eagerly, awaiting Bert to regale them with stories of his fishing adventures. The community finally saw Bert as a grieving widower and not a mad drunkard, but a kind and selfless man. They finally understood that grief doesn't have a timestamp, and all Bert needed was compassion and kindness to heal from his hurt. Many apologies were rendered to Bert due to all the wrongs done to him. Bert had finally set the bottle aside, embracing his newfound friendships and the possibility of happiness. Colin continued to stand by Bert, and as time passed, Bert found genuine joy and began to leave behind the hurt and pain of losing his wife and son. With his newfound sobriety and happiness, Bert was open to finding love once more. After a few years, he met and married his wife, Cora, and they had a beautiful baby girl they named Celine. Celine brought so much happiness into their lives, and Bert was elated to embark on this new chapter. With their growing family, Bert's life had come full circle, filled with happiness and love. Colin has since moved away and started a family of his own, but he never forgot his kind and selfless neighbor. He would often visit Bert and his family while visiting his mother, cherishing the bond they had built over the years. And so, they all lived happily ever after, their enduring friendship a testament to the lasting impact of compassion and the beauty of unlikely friendships. This story beautifully illustrates the power of friendship and the importance of being there for someone. It teaches us that even a small gesture of kindness can have a profound effect, illuminating the path of healing and transformation for those in need. Moreover, it highlights the understanding that everyone grieves differently, and in such moments, the support and compassion of others can make significant and positive changes in a grieving person's life. The tale encourages us to extend our empathy and care, for in doing so, we might become the beacon of hope and solace that someone desperately requires during their darkest hours. Did you enjoy this story? If you did, please show your appreciation by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing it with a friend to support the growth of our channel. Thank you for joining us for another captivating tale. We'll catch you in our next storytime adventure. Stay tuned for more tales that will captivate your imagination.